Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Renegade Immortal based on novel. So let's start. The fire phoenix let out a roar as it passed right through the leaf and the first ancestor, and charged toward the fifth ancestor behind them. Its speed was too quick, so the fire phoenix landed on the fifth ancestor in the blink of an eye. Boom. After a loud bang, the phoenix disappeared and the fifth ancestor let out miserable scream as he started burning. 3 breaths later, the fifth ancestor died. Jukyuzi's face was pale and a deathly aura appeared around him. The Suzaku seal consumed the user's life force when activated, and with his current lifespan, he could only use it twice. After using it one more time, he will die. Once a target has been locked onto by the user's divine sense, the target of this Suzaku seal can't change. It didn't harm the first ancestor, but it almost instantly killed the fifth ancestor. If it were locked onto the first ancestor, or Yunkyuzi, the Suzaku seal wouldn't have killed them with one hit, but it would have injured them. This was why Jukyuzi didn't target them, and instead targeted the relatively weak fifth ancestor to get an unexpected kill. The first ancestor stared at Jukyuzi and said, word for word, Jukyuzi. The fifth ancestor's death didn't seem like a big deal to these people, none of them showed any anger. Yunkyuzi calmly said, Senior apprentice brother, you still have one more of those left. However, after you use that one, your life force will be drained. I gave you 3 months of time, so I assume you have thought clearly about all of this. Either you sacrifice every life on planet Suzaku to wipe out my forsaken immortal clan, or you listen to my suggestion, and we split the planet in half. I need your answer. A hint of madness appeared in Jukyuzi's eyes and he laughed. My dear junior apprentice brother, based on your understanding of me, what do you think I'll choose? How about we play a game? If you win, then I'll give you this planet, but if you lose, your forsaken immortal clan can die along with all the cultivators on this planet. Yunkyuzi's eyes were calm as he said, oh. Tell me about it. Jukyuzi laughed like crazy. His eyes became cold as he said, the cultivation planet crystal is in the Suzaku tomb. Any soul transformation cultivator can go in there as he wishes. If you guys can't find it in time, then I'll blow up the cultivation planet crystal. Either the cultivation alliance wipes out your forsaken immortal clan when they come to investigate, or everyone that was born in this planet after the country of Suzaku took over will die. Yunkyuzi let out a faint smile and said, the cultivation planet crystal contains the soul pieces of every single cultivator on the planet. If you destroy it, brother, your disciples will die with you. With that, he casually looked at Qian Feng and Liu Mai. After Qian Feng heard this, his eyes revealed a mysterious light. He looked at Liu Mai and noticed that her eyebrows were knit even tighter. This old guy has a lot of secrets. I didn't know the cultivation planet crystal had such a use. Qian Feng's eyes became cold. Life and death is all up to fate. Qian Feng and Liu Mai, this old man will give you 2 a chance to go retrieve your soul pieces. If you can retrieve them, you can live, if not, you will die. Don't blame me. After Jukyuzi finished, he waved his hand, causing his hair to start moving without any wind. Then he chanted something and coughed out a mouthful of blood. Shortly after, a red light flew out of his body and took the shape of a red, heart-shaped crystal. The madness in Jukyuzi's eyes became even stronger as he shouted, break. The red, heart-shaped crystal began to crack. More and more cracks appeared like it would break at any moment. At this moment, all of the cultivators of planet Suzaku, no matter where they were, even the ones that had long left the planet, everyone who hadn't broken past the ascendant stage felt their hearts tremble. From the rank 6 country of Suzaku down to the rank 1 cultivation countries, even the mortals felt pain in their hearts. This kind of pain came from the soul. It was something that no one could resist. Even cultivators that specialized in the soul could only make the pain lessen slightly. The cultivators who were running away, the cultivators who were healing, and the cultivators who weren't sure what to do in this situation all felt the pain in their souls. They felt like they would collapse if there was a bit more pain. If this feeling had lasted a breath longer, it could have driven someone insane, and a sliver more would have killed them. Among the mortals, from the kings to the commoners, everyone on planet Suzaku trembled. This pain didn't take anyone's status into account nor it care about whether they were mortals or cultivators. As long as you were born after the country of Suzaku took over the planet, you couldn't escape it. All of the plants, animals, and demonic beasts felt like the world was about to collapse. Even all of the Forsaken Immortal clan members that were rushing toward Mount Suzaku on the Suzaku continent felt this. Although what they felt was a lot weaker, they still felt like their lives were in someone else's hands. It was as if one squeeze would end their lives. The cultivation planet crystal was more powerful than anyone had expected. Even Zhu felt like he was going to die. At this moment, he seemed to have understood something. So this is what the cultivation planet crystal from the Cultivation Alliance is like. At this moment, the pursuers stopped chasing and the people escaping stopped running. Everything on the planet seemed to have stopped. The air was filled with heavy breathing and fear. Yun Qzi also felt this pain. It caused his expression to slightly change. Although he had long thought of this, his heart still trembled. The third ancestor's expression changed even more. Her face was extremely gloomy and her teeth were clenched. Although the first ancestor's expression remained calm, his heart felt bitter. The Forsaken Immortal clan shouldn't have come out this early. They should have listened to Yun Qzi and solved this matter in a more gentle fashion. Grooming the next Suzaku and secretly controlling the planet was the best way. However, it was too late now. Next to Zhu Qzi, Qian Feng's expression changed greatly. He now looked at Zhu Qzi with anger. Only Liu Mai, who felt depressed, was looking into the sky and still hadn't said a word. The madness in Zhu Qzi's eyes dissipated a bit. They were now showing a bit of clarity. However, the clarity quickly disappeared and he laughed like a madman. The cultivation planet heart hasn't completely shattered yet. It is shattering bit by bit. The cultivation planet crystal will collapse when it completely shatters. Yun Qzi, the game starts now. Let's see if your Forsaken Immortal clan can get the cultivation planet crystal before it breaks. If you can get it, I believe you have ways to prevent it from breaking. At that moment, this old man will give you planet Suzaku. However, if you can't get it or don't have a way to stop it from breaking, then you can all die with this old man. With that, he waved his hand and all of Mount Suzaku began to rumble. Due to this violent rumbling, dust was kicked everywhere and the earth below trembled. Under this heaven-shaking rumble, Mount Suzaku split in half. A dark passage was suddenly revealed before everyone. I have opened the Suzaku tomb. Yun Qzi, this game starts now. You know the rules of the Suzaku tomb. Any cultivators under the ascendant stage can enter and ascendant cultivators can't. Zhu Qzi's eyes were filled with madness. The first ancestor was looking at the slowly shattering cultivation planet heart. He was about to attack when Yun Qzi shook his head and whispered, "It's useless." The cultivation planet heart and Zhu Qzi have been fused into one for a long time. He doesn't even need to take it out to make it shatter. He did all of this to put pressure on us and make us watch our deaths come. Even if you were to take it, we would have no way of stopping it from shattering. I'm confident that with how crazy he is right now, he will destroy the cultivation planet crystal. If it was 3 months ago, he probably wouldn't have even given us this game as a chance and directly caused the cultivation planet crystal to explode. Now that he had time to think it over, he gave us this rare chance. Alas, if you guys had listened to me, we wouldn't be stuck in such a dilemma. The moment Mount Suzaku split in half, Qian Feng was the first one to charge into the Suzaku tomb. Liu Mai pondered a bit before letting out a sigh. She was the second person to enter the tomb. Yun Qzi's eyes lit up and he looked around. The Forsaken Immortal clan's junior master pondered a bit before walking into the tomb as well. At this moment, the clouds in the sky churned as a large number of Forsaken Immortal clan members appeared from within the black clouds. Several people flew out from the clouds. They seemed like they already knew of the matter ahead of time. Without a word, they entered the Suzaku tomb. One of them was the 8-leaf hunchback old man, who hunted Wang Lin before. After 3 days, the news of the Suzaku tomb opening spread across the entire planet. The news of the cultivation planet crystal also spread like wildfire. At the moment, the most important thing to all cultivators was to go to the Suzaku tomb to retrieve their own soul piece. All of the cultivators from across the planet rushed toward the country of Suzaku to go into the Suzaku tomb. However, the Suzaku tomb had a special restriction set by the cultivation planet crystal. Once it exceeded a certain number of people, no more could enter. Although a lot of people wanted to go inside, the number of people that actually managed to get in was very small. Ju Wutai was one of the people that went in, and along with him was the woman who was always wearing a veil, Zixin. On the 4th day, Wang Lin and Sichu Nan arrived at Mount Suzaku. Zhu Qzi had disappeared, leaving behind only the cultivation planet crystal, which was slowly shattering. Yun Qzi and company were also not there, no one knew where they had gone. A large number of cultivators and forsaken immortal clan members were sitting around Mount Suzaku looking at the entrance to the tomb. At the moment, none of them were interested in fighting each other. Wang Lin looked at the passage at the foot of Mount Suzaku and slowly walked over. Most cultivators on the planet were gathered in the country of Suzaku right now, and they all had one goal. Enter the Suzaku tomb to retrieve their soul piece. The limit of the Suzaku tomb caused a lot of powerful cultivators to gather here. Although they were mostly soul formation cultivators, there were 16 soul transformation cultivators as well. The 16 of them surrounded and completely blocked the entrance. These 16 were close to the country of Suzaku, so they got here within a few days, but even so, they were too slow and missed the chance to enter. Before they arrived, the number of people that went inside the Suzaku tomb had already reached the limit. The only way to go in right now was to wait for the people inside to die. If one person died, one more person could go in. Among the 16 soul transformation cultivators, only one of them was at the late stage, 3 of them were at the mid stage, and the rest of them were at the early stage. These 16 people were scattered around the entrance of the Suzaku tomb. All of them had their gazes locked onto the entrance. If there was a green flash and a ripple appeared, that meant that someone inside had died and another could go in. With these 16 people waiting, none of the surrounding people dared to get close. They were all waiting for these 16 to go in before fighting over who had the right to enter next. After all, entering this place meant that they would have a chance to retrieve their soul piece. For a chance to save their own life, everyone on planet Suzaku was willing to give it their all. The higher their cultivation level, the more true this was. Wang Lin's figure closed in from the distance. He was wearing a white robe that made him look very calm. Along the way, Sichu Nan had told him everything about the Suzaku tomb in detail. However, Wang Lin wasn't very confident about this trip. The Suzaku tomb seemed several times more dangerous than he originally expected. Sichu Nan gifted me a jade that allows me to leave the Suzaku tomb, so I should only have a problem if I don't manage to get to the cultivation planet crystal and retrieve my soul piece from inside it. Although Sichu Nan has a way for me to not die, not only is it very difficult, but my soul will be missing a piece. This will affect my future cultivation. Wang Lin's figure slowly closed in. The cultivators around Mount Suzaku were either chatting with each other, silently cultivating, or thinking about something else. The moment Wang Lin arrived, some cultivators raised their heads to look at him. Their eyes lit up, then they quickly lowered their heads and made way. There were a lot of cultivators around, but whenever they saw Wang Lin, their expressions would change slightly and they would move out of the way. Wang Lin walked past the cultivators one by one when a very arrogant voice came from the front. Stop! The moment the voice came, the cultivators scattered while Wang Lin continued moving. 1,000 feet away from Mount Suzaku sat 5 cultivators. No cultivator dared to get within 100 feet of these 5. Among the 5 were 3 males and 2 females, and their ages varied greatly. There were 2 young women, 2 young men, and an old man. The 5 of them were all at the peak of the late stage of soul formation. The old man even had a strand of celestial spiritual energy inside his body. He was clearly ready to refine his body and reach the soul transformation stage. However, he didn't have enough celestial jades, so he had only refined a small portion of his body. But even with just this, it made this old man much more powerful than normal soul formation cultivators. The person who shouted was a young man, who was sitting next to the old man. This young man was very handsome and was filled with a noble spirit, but if you looked closely at him, you would see hidden intentions in his eyes. Normal people wouldn't be able to see through this, but Wang Lin, although he still looked like a young man due to the dew from the heaven-defying bead, was an old monster, who had cultivated for hundreds of years. He was able to see through that person at a glance. As he calmly looked at the young man, he continued to walk forward without even pausing. The young man's eyes were filled with caution as he walked up and shouted, "Fellow cultivator, don't break the rules. My teacher was here first. Once those soul transformation seniors have entered, it will be our turn. Since you came late, you should be in the back." Wang Lin's gaze landed on the old man, with the bit of celestial spiritual energy in his body. The old man was wearing a black robe, and looked like a skeleton. His eyes gave off a ghostly light that could shake anyone's heart. When he looked toward Wang Lin, his eyes became serious. It was as if he had understood something. "My teacher is the honored brutal Nanming." When the young man saw that Wang Lin's eyes were still calm, he called out his teacher's name. The old man's eyes lit up and he shouted, "Shut up." While the young man was still startled, the old man stood up, respectfully clasped his hands toward Wang Lin, and said, "Brutal Nanming greets senior. My disciple was rude and offended senior. I hope you can forgive him." With that, he quickly moved out of the way. The moment those words came out, the people around the old man were startled, but they quickly got up and respectfully got out of the way. Wang Lin nodded toward the old man, as he walked past them, and then he came within 1,000 feet of Mount Suzaku. The moment he stepped foot in this area, aside from the one late-stage soul transformation cultivators, 15 gazes gathered on him. "Teacher, what cultivation level is that person at? Could he be a soul transformation old monster?" Disciple wasn't able to detect a trace of celestial spiritual energy in his body though. After Wang Lin left, the extremely arrogant young man sent a voice transmission to the old man. "Of course you weren't able to notice. Even I didn't notice until he got close. That person is not only at the late stage of soul transformation, but is the kind of late stage soul transform cultivator, who is just below ascendant cultivators. He must never be messed with. Only late stage soul transformation cultivators can reach such a state where celestial energy flows naturally through their body, and shows no hint of it." The old man sent a voice transmission back. The moment the 15 gazes landed on Wang Lin, their eyes all lit up. Shortly after, they all withdrew their gazes and began to ponder. They recognized Wang Lin as someone who was on their level, and would be part of the first group of people to enter the Suzaku tomb. Wang Lin walked toward the foot of Mount Suzaku. He sat down near the entrance and silently pondered. Among the 16 soul transformation cultivators that were there, the only late-stage soul transformation cultivator was a middle-aged man. He was wearing a purple robe and looked extremely normal. He was sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed. An ancient sword was stabbed into the ground before him. Its golden tassel flowed in the wind. The 2 bells on the tassel were creating a crisp ringing sound. A small monkey, with red eyes, was sitting beside him. The monkey would sometimes scratch its head and scream at the entrance. At the moment Wang Lin sat down, the middle-aged man opened his eyes. His eyes were calm as he looked toward Wang Lin and said, "Seng Nyo." The moment he said that, the other 15 soul transformation cultivators were shocked and looked at Wang Lin once more. The name Seng Nyo was very famous on planet Suzaku. Almost every cultivator on the planet knew this name. If his battle with Red Butterfly hadn't caught the attention of the soul transformation cultivators, then the deaths of Li Yuanfeng and the giant demon clan ancestor definitely made them pay attention to him. Wang Lin's expression remained the same. He looked at the middle-aged man and asked, "Have we met?" The middle-aged man faintly smiled. He rubbed the little monkey beside him and answered, "We have not." Wang Lin no longer spoke, and closed his eyes to rest. The middle-aged man's eyes lit up, and he faintly smiled. Fellow cultivator Seng Nyo sure has great willpower. You used the celestial refining method to wash away your mortal roots in one go. This makes you much stronger than people who have to wait until the mid or late stages of soul transformation to wash away their mortal roots. If anyone other than us soul transformation cultivators look at fellow cultivator Seng, they will think that you are at the late stage of soul transformation rather than the early stage. There aren't many people who used this method to reach the soul transformation stage. It's no wonder you were able to kill Li Yuanfeng and the giant demon clan ancestor. Wang Lin slightly frowned. He opened his eyes to look at the person and asked, "Is something the matter?" The middle-aged man shook his head and said, "Nope. I'm resting, so please don't disturb me." With that, Wang Lin closed his eyes again. The middle-aged man's eyes became cold, then he applied some pressure on the little monkey. The monkey immediately began to shrill and its eyes started glowing red. Just at this moment, the passage leading into the tomb released a glow and a green ripple spread out. This meant that someone inside the tomb had died and another person could enter. The middle-aged man frowned, then he glanced at Wang Lin before getting up and walking toward the passage. The red light slowly faded from the little monkey's eyes. Although its eyes were still glowing red, the light was several times weaker than before. The middle-aged man thought in his heart, "Wang Lin, you don't recognize the current me, but I recognize you. We haven't met in a long time." The moment he entered the tunnel, he looked back at Wang Lin and revealed a creepy smile. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as watched the middle-aged man enter the tomb. He had never met this person before, but the creepy smile gave Wang Lin a familiar feeling. However, after thinking for a long time, he couldn't remember where he had seen this smile before. After the middle-aged man went in, the three mid-stage soul transformation cultivators stood up and rushed toward the passage. The remaining cultivators' eyes all lit up as they got up and rushed to the passage. A lot of people inside the tomb had died this time, so a lot more people could go in as well. Wang Lin followed them closely and also entered the passage. With a flash of green light, everyone before him disappeared. Then the green light flashed again, and one of the soul transformation cultivators was pushed out. He let out an angry roar as he went back to where he was sitting and sat down with his fists clenched. The entrance to the Suzaku tomb was in Mount Suzaku, but the tomb itself was another world. The Suzaku tomb was surrounded by the mysterious power of the cultivation planet crystal. Aside from the entrance at Mount Suzaku, there was no way to break in or out. Aside from being filled with majesty, every generation of Suzaku found that it was filled with mystery. This place wasn't this big when the first Suzaku planted the cultivation planet crystal. However, as time passed, or to be more accurate, as more soul pieces were added, this place grew as if it were alive. It exists within the planet and gradually grows. Now it has its own mountains and rivers, its own sky and earth. Anyone who enters this place for the first time is shocked. Wang Lin appeared somewhere on the edge of the Suzaku tomb. The earth here was scorched and strands of black smoke came out from the ground and drifted into the sky. The sky here was not blue. There was rainbow-colored lightning flashing up there and large spatial rifts that would open up high up in the air. These powerful fluctuations caused the earth below to light up and darken. Wang Lin appeared on the scorched earth where strands of black smoke were rising up from the ground. Shortly after, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he looked into the distance. Sichunan said that the Suzaku tomb isn't large and is split into the inner and outer sections. The center of the inner section is where the first generation Suzaku's tomb is located, and that's where the cultivation planet crystal is. But this place is far too different from how Sichunan described it. My divine sense can't even cover the outer section, much less find that altar. Wang Lin frowned as he squatted down to touch the scorched earth and felt the heat with his hands. There is fire element within this earth. It doesn't seem to be caused by after effects of a spell or battle, but rather from a natural fire elemental spirit. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he flew away. There is no one within 5,000 kilometers of me. It seems all those who enter are scattered across this tomb. Various thoughts flashed through Wang Lin's mind as he quickly flew into the distance. Just as he left, a pair of green eyes appeared in the ground. The eyes emitted a mysterious light as they looked at Wang Lin, and then disappeared back into the ground. Wang Lin was quickly flying toward the end of the scorched earth, but then he suddenly stopped and backed up. Boom! A moment after he backed up, a pillar of blue flame silently appeared where Wang Lin just was. The blue flame was about as thick as a person, and it caused the temperature of the area to immediately increase. The heat wave created by this fire quickly pushed away all the smoke coming out from the ground. However, the black smoke was like a ghost. After it was pushed away, it changed directions and went into the blue flame instead of continuing to float up. At this moment, a strange scene unfolded before Wang Lin. All of the black smoke within 5,000 kilometers flew toward the blue flame. A large amount of black smoke gathered within the blue flame, then it came out from the blue flame and took the form of tentacle-like things. As Wang Lin backed up, his eyes became cold. He slapped his bag of holding, took out the celestial sword, and slashed down without any hesitation. A half-moon-shaped sword energy formed and charged toward the blue flame like a fierce storm. At this moment, the black smoke quickly gathered to form a shield to protect the blue flame. Boom! An earth-shattering sound came from the shield as it collapsed. The sword energy shrunk a bit when it broke through the shield and then it landed on the blue flame. A crack as thick as an arm appeared on the blue flame and strands of black smoke came out from the crack. The blue flame moved, causing a large amount of black smoke to gather around it and seal up the crack. As more black smoke gathered, the blue flame began to change until it took the shape of a human. It looked like an 8 or 9-year-old child. Its entire body released black smoke and its eyes were completely dark. It looked at Wang Lin and let out a happy smile. Don't leave, play with me. Only a short period of time had passed since Wang Lin had swung the sword and the flame had taken the form of a child. Wang Lin coldly stared at the child. He was able to tell at a glance that it wasn't some demonic beast, but the fire spirit that was creating this heat. Wang Lin coldly said, "Scram." He flew past the flame child and was about to leave. "Don't leave." The child waved its right hand and the earth before Wang Lin began to rumble. The earth suddenly rose, creating a 1,000-foot-tall wall to block Wang Lin. Wang Lin frowned. His body suddenly disappeared, and when he reappeared, he was several tens of thousands of kilometers away from the scorched earth. The child floated to the edge of the scorched earth and looked at Wang Lin. However, it didn't take a step outside. It was clearly limited to moving within the scorched earth. The child's black eyes stared at Wang Lin. These dark eyes gave off a creepy feeling. It suddenly let out a roar, and then it jumped into the air with its arms open. A large amount of black smoke came out from its body. This black smoke was like a group of dragons. After it flew out, it entered the scorched earth. Rumbling sounds came from the 5,000-kilometer area of scorched earth, and the scorched earth began to slowly move forward. Wang Lin frowned as he coldly looked at the child. Without a word, he turned around and flew away. When the child saw that Wang Lin was going farther and farther away, it began to panic. It roared several more times as more black smoke came out from its body and dug into the ground, causing the scorched earth to move even faster. However, this couldn't compare to Wang Lin's speed. Seeing Wang Lin's figure slowly disappearing in the distance, the child's face was filled with hostility. It let out a big roar into the sky, then its body collapsed into a ball of blue flame, and went back into the scorched earth. The scorched earth began to tremble violently, and then suddenly it started expanding again. It wasn't moving this time. It seemed to be stretching itself into a line that moved forward at a frightening pace. As Wang Lin flew, his eyes became cold. He turned around and saw a line chasing after him like a dragon. At the front of this line, there was a ball of blue flames with the child's strange eyes. "You're courting death." Wang Lin didn't use celestial spiritual energy in that swing earlier. He took out a celestial jade and absorbed all of the celestial spiritual energy inside it. Then his eyes released a golden glow, as he slowly raised the celestial sword. The celestial sword released a golden glow, as it was filled with celestial spiritual energy, and then Wang Lin swung down. One swing of the celestial sword was like divine punishment. Its power was several times stronger than before. The sword energy moved faster than the speed of sound and quickly landed on the scorched earth that was charging towards him. Boom! The earth trembled, and at the moment the sword energy landed, cracks appeared on the scorched earth. The cracks quickly spread, and in the blink of an eye, the scorched earth was covered in cracks. Wang Lin whispered, "Shatter." With a bang, the line of scorched earth was shattered and dirt flew out in all directions. At this moment, a mysterious power came out from every speck of this scorched earth. Wang Lin's expression was strange as he reached out and caught a few specks of dirt. After checking them out, he turned around and quickly left. Shortly after he left, those specks began to gather once more. It didn't take long for the scorched earth to reform itself. The child looked toward where Wang Lin had gone and revealed a look of deep frustration. "Don't leave." The child suddenly turned around and saw a ray of light flying toward it. Joy suddenly filled the child's eyes. After leaving the scorched earth far behind him, Wang Lin's expression was very gloomy. He was now certain that the child made of flames was not a fire spirit. If it were a fire spirit, then that sword slash should have destroyed it, but that strike that contained celestial spiritual energy only made it collapse, and did not inflict any injuries. Even the scorched earth wasn't damaged at all. The blow from the celestial sword only made it fall apart. The scorched earth was originally just grains of dirt fused together anyways. This place is very strange. As soon as that scorched earth shattered, I felt like each of those grains was a soul. Could those have been the soul pieces? Wang Lin suddenly stopped and looked back behind him. Part 1 end here.